Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today I thought I would do a greenhouse update. So instead of doing a greenhouse tour like I have been every month, I thought I would do an update. I didn't do my tour for December. Nothing's really changed in the greenhouse, but as I've been to the greenhouse a little bit more often, so I've actually had time to come to the greenhouse and do a couple of things recently, I thought it would be a nice time to do an update. Plus I've structured things a bit differently. I've done a bit of a redesign in the greenhouse, let's say, and got a couple of new plants as well, so I thought it would be an interesting video just to show everybody how everything's currently looking, and obviously the plants in Dormancy, how they're doing as well. So I thought I'd make a nice video just to show little bits and bobs that have changed. So the first thing people might have noticed is that the shading behind me is gone. I originally was going to keep it up. I hadn't before because one, I didn't have enough time, and two, it took hours to put up. It was a very complicated thing because it's strapped across my greenhouse and then pinned, like pegged down properly each side. But I thought to allow more kind of sun into the greenhouse, especially as spring comes around, it will help get the plants that are on the lower side of the bench where I'm currently sitting. So I decided to take it down. Whether I'll put it back up or not in the summer depends how obviously the summer goes, but yeah, it took hours, so I did finally take it down. It's made the greenhouse a lot brighter and a lot more spacious as well. It looks a bit bigger as well, so that's nice. And then I've also brought a giant tray so I can fit more plants in here, and I've managed to fit practically most of my collection on one side of the greenhouse now, so it calls for some more plants, is what I've been saying really, as I've got so much space now. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and show you the top few plants that are currently looking really good and things that I've got to point out. So I decided to go out and I brought a giant grow bag tray. As you can see, it now fills up the whole bench. If I got some picture, I mean I took a picture of the tray when it was empty, but it was very dirty, so I might put that over the video just to show you the size of the tray beforehand without any plants in. But I got this new one and I've been able to fit a lot of plants. As you can see, all of my Sarracenias are now on here, so I even moved over, they won't stay here though, the big ones which usually sit next to me in the videos are currently on this tray, mainly just to fit in the big gap that I had at the bottom here, and all the rest of the smaller Sarracenias are on this side. So I will just start all the way from the ends like I usually do and work my way through these plants. So as you can see, some of the Sarracenia still have their pictures on. This is my Chanel's Ghost, but as you can see, it will soon be cut off, so it has started to lose its colour and go brown. Of the Leucophilas, the Leucophilas always hang on longer, so my Sarracenia Baldwin Giant, that has held on really well, and as you can see, it's only got the start of some discoloration on it, but the top of the picture is still a really lovely strong white colour, as well as one of my newest plants, which is the Sarracenia Leucophila Tarnock, which is the one with like the double headed frilly flower, which is really beautiful. And then I've got some of my other ones at the back, so that is a Sarracenia Capri Cross and my Sarracenia Flava. So this is just one that I got in a sale once, and it's got some really nice bright green pictures with a little bit of red veining, light veining in the back of the throat. But as you can see, that's a really nice plant as well. So over here I've got my Sarracenia Alata Black Tube, and this is a plant that I'd wanted to show previously when in the growing season, because in the growing season it has some really nice almost black looking traps. These are some traps that are produced later in the season, so quite recently actually, and there's another one at the back here which have more of a reddy purple colour rather than the nice dark black colour it almost had in the growing season. If I can find a picture, I know I never took many pictures of this plant, I'll put it over the video to show how dark it really was. But during the growing season, the amount of prey it captured made the traps go very like, they produced those really black, like almost indigestion kind of traps, and they went a bit mouldy, so I made the decision to cut them off, which you can see the old ones here. And luckily I've got a couple more, so you can still see the colour. It's a really nice colour, not as dark as it can be, but still a really nice velvety colour all the same. So even though this time of year there isn't much to see in the way of Sarracenia growth and colour, there is the rhizomes and the winter leaves to look at. So this Sarracenia Flava Burgundy, which is another newer one, I got it at the same time as the Tarnock here, has got some really nice tall, so I'm imagining it's going to be a really tall plant. It's got some really tall winter leaves, and that's the rhizome it's got at the back. So even though the rhizome isn't massive, it's got some lovely, really tall winter leaves, so I can't wait to see the growth of that one in the new growing season. And along with everything else, actually, one that definitely has been standing out is my Joanna. So this is a Morii, and the Joanna had some amazing colour during the growing season. But as you can see from the rhizome, it's already started to grow out, so it definitely needs repotting this year. But it's a lovely plant, and the rhizome is looking really big, which I love. Other plants to look at are obviously the smaller ones, which again needs repotting, which is the Sarracenia Tygo, which had lovely again coloration this year. Still in quite a small pot, but as you can see, the rhizomes are starting to grow. So the rhizomes get bigger during this dormancy period, which obviously is why the rhizomes get longer each year. And this is the new growth, and most of the plants are doing it now, and it showed you really what plants need to be repotted as well. So I need to repot these ones anyway because they're in circle pots and I want them to be in square, but the rhizomes on these are really healthy. Same with my Sarracenia aureophylla Sand Mountain. It's got some lovely winter leaves, and you can see some new bits of growth in the bottom there. So even though winter isn't over, it's a great opportunity to see how well your rhizomes are doing and how much the plants are growing. So this is a Sarracenia purpurea venosa, and again it's a bit dormant. There's a little bit of straggly growth. Again, I probably will repot this one, but it's looking really nice in the coloration of its old pictures that it had, as well as I got a Sarracenia Judith Hindle here with the really nice reddy pink colour. But again, there's another really small plant. But overall, the Sarracenias in the smaller pots are looking really great for this time of year. So the Sarracenia purpurea, subspecies purpurea as well, which is another one I forgot to mention. This time of year they produce really nice coloration. So look how dark and really vibrant red, almost like a burgundy colour the pictures go. So this is only a young plant, but it's an amazing coloured plant. So such lovely traps on that. Same with fly traps as well. So even though they haven't fully gone dormant, some of them have, some of them look a bit better. So this is my Venus flytrap phalanx, which as people probably know, it is my favourite from the long lashes that it's got on the plant. And even though the growth has stopped, it still obviously hasn't really gone as dormant as others have, and it's just a lovely plant overall. Like the lashes on the plant, I'll never stop saying how much I love this plant. I divided up my cup trap, so it was only in a small 6cm pot, and I managed to get 4 out of it from cutting up or separating the rhizome, dividing it up, and I've got 4 currently growth points on that, so that will hopefully do really well and fill up the pot. My one that's probably gone into dormancy the most is my red dragon. As you can see, there's still some growth in there at the bottom, hidden by the moss, but out of all of them, that's definitely gone the most dormant, so there's less of a plant there. I think there was 3 plants in there, so again, I'll probably repot that just to see whereabouts the plants are. And my bristletooth, another lovely plant for its traps and obviously the teeth that's got in there. So instead of like the lashes, it's got obviously the bristles. But as you can see, that newer trap there that hasn't opened yet is really lovely. And these ones divide up really well. So I've got a couple of babies in there which had been divided from that plant. And it's just a lovely, again, plant for coloration. Got my mega traps here, which still has the really nice large traps on it. And the coloration as well, so very beautiful plant. My fused tooth, this time of year it produces less fused teeth. These are older traps here, and they'll produce these just single bits of fuse here in the winter until the growing season, then it will start producing a full fused trap there. So my Darwin again has gone a bit smaller. It did produce some really long petioles this year, and it's now gone into this more compact growth form with loads of spatulata. As you can see, Drosera spatulata, all inside the pot there, which had spread from my main pot of Drosera spatulata. So mega traps again is a lovely plant. It's got some really nice coloration around the edges, and as you can see, has gone into more dots. You can see where the traps, I haven't cut them off yet or taken them out of the pot, but these are the old traps that it had which have gone dormant, and then the rest of them are just hanging on. Same with the red piranha, which again is a lovely one for its teeth and the coloration it produces this time of year. Really nice dark burgundy colour. And I've got a couple more of the Sarracenia purpurea. Before I move on to Drosera, I thought I'd just point out this Sarracenia leucophila cross Morii seedling. So these are the ones that I sowed from seed almost 2 years ago now, and being in it's been in the same it's been in a single pot all of its life. So it's the largest of all my seedlings, and it produced some really nice coloration, and as you can see, it has held on again instead of going into a dormancy, but it's got some lovely coloration, really nice plant. And I can't wait to see how well it does, obviously in its second year of growth from a seed. So it's been really nice watching that one grow up. So moving on to dormancy for the Drosera, you can see that this is a Drosera binata, and it has gone down into this is their dormant state. So here is actually a Drosera rotundifolia hibernacula, but they die down to like the roots, and then the plant will then regrow from there. So I cut down all the traps, and it will look like that. So if anybody's got anything like that and they're worried about their plant, it's totally nothing to worry about. That is exactly how they should look, and they'll come back in full force when the growing season starts. Just move that out of the way. These are my Drosera speculata, which you can see from what's left of the flower stalks, flowered everywhere and is in most of my pots now, which is annoying because again they're like a weed like Drosera capensis and Aliciae, but they're still looking really nice despite the time of year. So I've got some odd pots, which again are just more Drosera binatas. Got a couple of fly traps in here, so this is my dentate. If I could just get that there. Again, really nice teeth on that. This is more Drosera rotundifolia, so as you saw with the binata, it's got this really nice clustered hibernacula here. So you can see the plants here, and they've got really nice big growth on them. And then this is the hibernacula for the Drosera anglica, which is another native sundew to England, which is the same as the Drosera rotundifolia. And then I've got more Drosera anglica in here. Yellow fused tooth, which is in here, which is another nice yellow colour plant. Despite it obviously not producing the fused teeth, it's still a lovely plant for the colour. And my all green sawtooth, which is lovely. I do really love this plant. So I've got some larger plants around here. So in all these pots, which you can see has completely been cut down, is my other type of binata, which is my Drosera binata var dictamar, and it's doing really, really well. As you can see, I've got numerous amounts of pots of it, so there's a smaller pot here, and they've all been cut down, and you can see the new little growth between all the older growth in there. So these were really, really big last year, so these spread like crazy as well, so I'm expecting even bigger growth on the coming year, which is probably going to be a nightmare because I've already got enough pots of it. My Drosera regia, I've decided to keep out here. Doesn't necessarily need a dormancy period, but it's doing really well, and it has done throughout this time. We've had multiple days of freezing and all the pots freeze over, but I'm hoping this one will die down to the roots and I'll get maybe I'll say a couple of plants maybe come back. But at the moment it's done really well, despite obviously not looking the greatest. I've decided to chance keep it out here, but it's definitely one of my favourite plants, so I hope nothing happens to it, and I have taken the chance to keep it outside this year just to see how strong and vigorous the growth will come back next year. Couple of new plants now that I've got. So this is my newest plant to the collection, is a Pinguicula I Spy. So it's a newer cultivar, and it's a cross between a giant grandiflora and I forget the other one, but it's a temperate species of Pinguicula. And I got a hibernacula, which you can see there, and a couple of gamiae. So I planted the other gamiae in this pot here, and that is hopefully going to be a really lovely plant. So it's got some really extraordinary growth on it. Obviously if you are interested, look it up and just type in Pinguicula I Spy. Lovely, lovely plant I'm hoping for, and we'll see what we get in the growing season. So that's something really exciting to look forward to. And I sowed some Drosera rotundifolia across filiformis, and as you can see, I've got a couple that have already started coming up, so it'll be interesting to see what that cross will present. So it's one of my own crosses that I did this year. Moving on to my larger Sarracenia, which is the ones that usually sit next to me. I've only just noticed this, but this is my Sarracenia flava Adrian Slacks Maxima, and this is the main growth point that it has. As you can see, it's a giant rhizome, but it's never flowered. I'm hoping maybe this year I will get a flower from it, and it's got a lovely rhizome here, but I've just noticed at the side it's got another growth point here, and on the opposite side it's also got another growth point here. So that made me really excited, because obviously that means extra growth on this plant this year. And I already love the plant so much. It's such a big and strong grower. It's the tallest plant that I've currently got in my collection. So it'll be interesting to see what growth I get from that in the spring. So my Sarracenia flava rubicorpora, which is always another great coloured plant, has got some really nice, strong, healthy growth. So you can see from the winter leaves, these plants are looking lovely. Same with my Sarracenia linda butt. The growth of it is gone crazy. So it already had these 3 growth points on it anyway, but you can see from its main rhizome, it's got some really nice new growth on it. So it's going to be a really nice, large, vigorous plant, which again, I will repot because it's in a circle pot and I'd love it to be in a square one. Same with my Sarracenia leucophila. It's just my normal leucophila. It's my pubescent form, so it's nice and fuzzy. And it's got, again, 2 growth points coming out either side. So you can see one on this side and then one going in that direction, which is lovely as well to see. So that is what I've got on my big new tray, which I managed to put all my plants on today. So I thought I'd show updates as well of the other bits and bobs that I've got, which is my sundew cottage. So the growth in here is doing quite well, considering it's mainly consistent of subtropical species. And this is some just Alicia seedlings that I've got here. I had some pygmy sundews which have created their gamiae, and it's now started to go down the hill. So I do actually have some small like Drosera and stuff in here, as well as flytraps, which is quite nice. You can see here that this Drosera actually has some more gamiae on it. I had already harvested that, but I've got some more there, so that's quite good, which I could sow as well. And I didn't see this one at the back as well. That one's got loads of gamiae too. And obviously the other plants which are on the back are still looking really good. So it's really nice growth, and obviously this pot is really nice. I put one single leaf of a a Pinguicula Weezer on this side, and as you can see, it's got 2 little plants there, which is really cute actually at the back of it, as well as the fern with pensis, and even the seed corner is still doing well of little seedlings that I had here. A couple of them have died off from being so compact in this little corner, and as you can see the moss has completely grown over, but it's still a really nice planter and display. And then moving on to my favourite planter, which is my bunny bog planter. This planter never seems to give up really with its amazing growth. So as you can see, the traps are such an amazing colour, such a really deep red burgundy colour. And these desperately, I've been meaning to repot this thing for ages. Going to do a redesign of the bunny bog planter, and these fly traps need to come out. As you can see, their rhizomes are right at the bottom from having a couple of years growth in here, and they've kind of been buried, so that's why they're creating these really short, almost invisible PTLs, because of how buried they are. So I just need to elevate them a bit, and I thought at the same time I would redesign the bunny bog, so it'd still be bunny related, but I'll probably remove these little plants at the front here and the stones. I'll keep the log in there and have a kind of different design, mainly focusing on the beauty of the fly traps that are in here. So I've got some bits and bobs in here. First of all, I'll show my new Cephalotus. For those that didn't watch the plant tag video and noticed in any of my other videos, I had lost my Cephalotus, my big main one, with the really dark colour, which almost looked like an Eden black because of how dark it got. I lost that one to rot. It was very sudden. It was, I think, due to temperatures going down really quickly, and it's still remaining rather wet. But I've got the cloned babies from that original plant, so I'm not necessarily as worried because I've got plenty of the seedlings and the propagations. But I did get myself a new one, and it's all green at the moment. It will colour up when it gets more light, but I thought I'd start again and have a new Cephalotus, which hopefully will also have a nice coloration to it. My Pinguicula grandiflora are entering their first year of dormancy. These are the ones I sowed from seed in 2019, and as you can see from the little specks in here, these are all the gamiae, hibernacula's that they've produced this year. Some of them actually do have gamete, I've noticed, like really tiny little specks, but they are really lovely plants. They're just, again, hard to focus on because of how small they are. As you can see, I've had to remove some of this moss to actually even see the plants. So another ones that I could probably take out of here and probably pot up as well. So fly traps I've grown from seeds that are in here for their first year as well, looking lovely with the coloration and obviously different sizes of plants. My flower stalk propagation fly traps, which is again their first year of dormancy in here, which are looking lovely. As you can see, different sized plants as well. There's big ones, or I've got a cluster of lit ones here. Different fly traps here, which is a seed grown one that I did, which is a red fine tooth cross, I think it's red fine tooth cross something else, I can't remember now. My Uticularia Sarracenia, you can see they're finally starting to lose their flowers. These ones are ones that hold off in winter for quite a while before losing their flowers, and then they will continue spreading throughout the pot, even though I don't think they can spread anymore. These pots are completely full. And then my Alyssiae is looking great this time of year, so I've got a few pots of the Alyssiae actually. And they held on, again, their dew and really nice coloration for ages, but as the weather has remained really cold, they are likely to die down from the roots and come back. The growth on this one here and here is a result of one single plant dying down to the roots and then coming back presenting this lovely display of plants. And then finally I've got a tray of my Pinuicula grandiflora gamete. So the plants that are outside of my bog barrels have produced so much gamete, I keep meaning to do another tray of it. And as you can see from the little, again, specks in here, like this here, there's loads of gamete planted in this tray, and there's an odd hibernacula here. It's quite hard to see with the lighting, but this is full of gamete, which will hopefully produce loads of new plants for me in the growing season. So I thought to finish off the video of showing everything I've got in the greenhouse, would be worthwhile showing my Sarracenia seedlings. So these are, again, the ones I sowed from seed, which are Sarracenia leucophila cross Morii. And these are the ones I also did the experimentation on. And since then, they have all survived. They've done really, really well. I haven't fed them, obviously, anymore, especially being this time of year. But they are looking really nice and started to create their own distinctive characteristics. So I found some have got finer veining like this, where some have a more defined lip, which has a darker colour. So the parents of these plants from the seedlings, when I first got them, the parent plants were either really white or they had a really nice pink lip. And some of them have started to show this trait from parents. As you can see, this one here is quite white. It's quite hard to focus on these, it's still very small. But even though it is winter, some of them have still got some lovely coloration on, as you can see here. And again, different sizes. So one at the back here remained really big, which was one that wasn't actually treated in the experiment but got really large. And obviously we've still got some which are quite small. But this is their first year outside, so they're about to enter their second year of growing. But the first year outside, and as you can see, some of them have got into dormancy and have got some darker traps, but others are still growing strong and have some lovely coloration. So what I'm hoping for is that they will grow really strong coming into the growing season again, and I'll be able to select the few that I want to keep from this batch. So that gives you a quick update really of what the greenhouse currently looks like. So you can see I've got a big grow bag tray now, which has allowed for a lot more plants. So on the lower side I have got basically no plants there now, and I was hoping even to put some more benches across the back. So at the back of the greenhouse I don't have anything, there's a big gap there. It's usually where I keep my peat, perlite and stuff like that. But I was thinking if I can make another tray, I could store that underneath and I'll have even more room for plants. So that is my plan, and I'm hoping now that I'll have more time to spend in the greenhouse, spending it repotting plants and, you know, buying more plants as well. So I'm quite looking forward to it now. It's doing all this today is taking off the netting and jigging everything with a new tray has really made me excited actually to, you know, focus on everything in the greenhouse and hopefully making it look really nice for when they come out of dormancy in the new growing season. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope you have a nice day.